I feel alive. I know inside.
What's up, guys? Welcome to episode 9 of the Faithful Chat podcast. I'm very grateful to say that I'm joined today by Richard Laskey from Modern Athlete magazine. He has a fascinating story, which I'm sure you're going to hear more about today. Just to start off, Richard, we usually start off with some quick fire questions. First one, Comrades or Two Oceans?
Dude, first, thanks for having me.
100%, of course.
Appreciate it.
Honor's mine.
Jeez, dude, tough one. Ocean's most beautiful race in the world, probably. Comrades, probably the most epic experience. So
Both.
Two different feelings.
Favorite place to run and favorite time of the day to run for you?
It doesn't matter what time. Probably early morning, sunrise, watching sun come up is pretty cool. Favorite place? Couple, I would say Otter. So Otter's beautiful.
Yeah.
Probably stunning scenery. Montresorce's also Drakensberg, fantastic. And maybe sort of Clarence area, Golden Gate.
So you're not opposed to the trail running? You
No, much trail running's beautiful.
100%.
Trail's perla.
So
you're dodging like natural puddles as opposed
beautiful.
to man-made puddles.
100%. So obviously you have an extensive history with sports and whatnot, just being a fan of it. Who would you say is a sporting icon that you've looked up to over the years?
Dude, I think like everyone. There's not doesn't matter what sport it is, dude. I mean, we've just had Olympics now. The routine that the synchronized swimmers have got to do is no different to the gymnasts, to the 100 meters, to the marathon runners. It's just the amount of hours and countless dedication is what it's about. Those guys have all got a goal in mind, and that's what it is. So I don't necessarily think. I mean, the heptathlon, decathlon, all of that sort of stuff is pretty hectic. But I think the amount of hours and dedication that Oaks put in, you can't really say one's more important than another.
So once you reach the pinnacle, there's the admiration that has to be given despite anything else. Game prediction for tomorrow, obviously taking on the Wallabies. Just give me a score. First thing that comes to your head.
Playing the Wallabies, probably go 40-18 to the Bokke.
Fair enough. After that, we have another massive fixture. Drika's taking on Israel Adesanya. Just tell me, who's going to win which round?
Hulle weet nie wat ons weet.
Beautiful. So you're not going to tell them. We'll tell them on Sunday when it happens.
100%. The guys who are not going to be up for it can wake up and just see the results. And it's going to be definitely a positive for the
It's not going to be a good weekend to be an Australian. Okay, so obviously there's a lot of talk in modern day sports about the GOAT of this, the GOAT of that. I just want to know, personally, who do you think is that name that comes to mind when you hear the GOAT?
Yeah, dude, now there's too many. I think it doesn't matter what, if we look at, obviously golf, you got Woods. I think if he lived in any other time, he probably would have spent a lot more time at number one than he actually did. We've been blessed with obviously Djokovic and Federer and Nadal in there with their whole scenario. I think from Eliab Kipchoge on what he's done in the marathon has been phenomenal. Usain Bolt's just one of the most incredible humans to meet. Just what he did for sprinting was incredible. Our own guys that we've got here, Sia, what he's done.
And the relay as well was
relay.
fantastic.
Obviously, our guys have been amazing. But there's a lot of people that we don't even get to hear about. The mainstream sports, so everything's mainstream and the guys are there. But there's so many adventurers, guys like Lewis Pugh who go and do stuff like they do. Ross Tigley who does crazy swims all over the world. Those type of guys, Rian Mansa, guys like that too. They're not necessarily sports people, but they accomplish these huge.
Did you say Ross Edgley? Is he the Oki ran? He swam the length of England.
He swam that. There's another guy, McCain, who's just done the world's longest triathlon, which is just manic. It's absolutely crazy.
Did you see that Iron Cowboy? I think he did 104 Ironmans in 104 days, and then there was another guy, an English guy, who just beat his record. I think he's actually born in Zim.
Dude, there's some crazy stories. So I mean, that's what I'm saying. Yeah, when you say goats, it's like I think each sport is different. But then also, I mean, you got Sibisi Suvalani, who's here, first black dude to climb Everest. He's done Kilimanjaro. I don't know. I think the Oaks lost count on how many Kilimanjaros he's done. So it's a little bit different. For me, I don't think you can just say one person's the best sports ever, the best goat. Each has got their own definition in their own sport.
100%. So speaking about endurance events and the mentality and the heart it takes to overcome it, just please give some context to the story of an ice cream bicycle and the inception of the Cars Foundation.
So ice cream bike, quite a long story behind the ice cream bike. There's a bike shop in Edenville that was established donkeys years ago by Kim Johnson. So I've always done races for charity, different charities. Done Sports Trust in the Worm. We've done some stuff for breast cancer, SPCA, Starfish Foundation. Anyway, I was in Johnson Cycles, and it was a couple of 2 weeks before the old 947, so now it's called Ride Joburg. And the owner, Kim, was on the phone and he was getting some abuse by the sounds of things. And we got off the phone and he asked what it was about, and he said no, it was the guy from Ola, and he was talking about the ice cream bikes and said, so Kim builds the ice cream bikes, and he said that the guy's selling him the quality is not great. So I said to him, dude, I'm looking for something different. I'm riding for Starfish. So I said, so give me an ice cream bike, we'll take it around the route, and if I get it back, then you can go back to the Oak and say, well, look, it's clearly
good quality.
There's no issues. So it's a 70 kilo single speed, old back brake, that's about it, all it's got. So it's not roadworthy, and not made for riding that. The start was still at Kyalami, so I parked at World of Golf. Took it off the bakkie and cycled down to Kyalami, did the race, and then cycled back, put it back on the bakkie and gave it back to Kim on the Monday. So that was where the ice cream bike came from. In my wisdom, I hadn't thought this quite through, but I put with those like beach umbrellas. So I'd put a beach umbrella there because I figured I was going to be out there for quite a while. So
cooling is essential.
I thought that would help, but I hadn't quite thought about I wasn't great at school, so the physics and the rest of it didn't work out so well.
So you're saying it wasn't
my umbrella turned
aerodynamic?
Inside out really quickly, and it was pretty much trying to break me down the hill, which didn't work. So that's where the ice cream bike came along. So I'd done that for 2 years, and then a friend of ours, their daughter passed away, Jess. So she passed away, and her parents had been exposed to chalk and what chalk do, and they wanted to get involved. So she was working on a project at RQ with another mate of mine, LB Riccardi, and another guy, Cordy. So they said, how do we raise money? So it was back in the days of ill repute. So he said, how do we do it? So I said, well, we get together, we get hammered, we come up with some crazy ideas. So we did it. So we went to LB's house, we got a bit smashed and had these ideas of what we were going to do. So one was we were going to ride the ice cream bike. So we would have one ice cream bike, and then we wanted to get suits. And we had this whole thing, which clearly shows you how much we'd had to drink by this time, because the whole idea was we were going to get rooster suits, and we were going to use social media to promote it, and we were going to call
brilliant idea
a bunch of but we were going to go like a bunch of big cocks, raising money. We hadn't quite thought up the bunch of big cocks and kids cancer, it doesn't really work so well. So I hadn't thought that whole part through. Steve Proudfoot went to the hiring shop the next day, and the only thing he could find 6 suits that were the same were cow suits. So he said, phone us, said, well, the only thing I can find is cow suits. So we said, well, cool, we'll be cows. So that's how the cows came about. There was no other planning. It was just those were the only things available. And 16 years later, many different events, Comrades, Ironman, Epic, the guys have done all sorts of stuff. We did Kilimanjaro in cow suits. So whatever happens, Midmar, Comrades, every single event we do, we're doing a woolen cow suit. And we raise money for kids with cancer, so little warriors going through all these fights. And people say to us, like, why cow suit? Make it easy, make it breathable. We were like, listen, dude, when kids are having chemo, there's nothing easy about it, you know, and we got to suffer for a couple of hours out there. Some of us suffer a bit longer because we cuck, so we take longer. But yeah, we just it's not about making it easy. You know, you got to suffer for a bit of time, but these kids have got to suffer for like some of them years while they go through the treatment. Hair falls out, got to have ports put in, so they're going through pain and horrible stuff all the time. So for us to suffer a little bit of time, no, it's not supposed to be easy. You're supposed to suffer.
What's up, guys? Chad Markroff here. I'm looking to be the first South African ever to run through the entire length of South Africa, running from capital city to capital city, a 4,000 kilometer journey we are calling #RunSA. And I'm extremely grateful to say that we have our first official sponsor for the run, Garmin SA, and the team at Garmin just sent through the new Epix Pro Gen 2, and I've been using it for about a week or so, and it's been a massive help in terms of the training and my confidence going into this next challenge. For the rest of you who are looking to help in whatever way possible, I ask you to please go have a look at the article that Modern Athlete has just released regarding #RunSA and the other things that you guys can do to help and make this dream a reality. Let's #RunSA together. You obviously spoke about your extensive history with endurance races. I just want to know, because I'm really fascinated by people who intentionally put themselves in the struggle, like you said. And I remember looking at one of your previous posts recently for Comrades, and you had a whole bunch of names written on your hands, and you said that these are, you know, names of everyone who's lost their battle or is currently fighting a battle, whatever it was, and you said that gave you strength. I just want to know what in your mind drew you to these endurance events, and why do you think it's so key to put yourself in moments of struggle?
So I think it's a number of things. Obviously, I've come from a history of addiction. So I had my own battles, my own struggles. Not shy to talk about it. They're real. So I've been clean and sober for 5.5 odd years. And I'll put my family through a whole lot of cuck many times. And I think what it is during those times when you go to a deep, dark place, you've got to remember why you're there. And you've also got to remember why, you know, the reasons for wanting to change. So it's to call on those people that are suffering and remind yourself that what you're going through currently is going to be over in a couple of hours. You know, if you're doing a couple of days, stage race events, that type of stuff, you're going to get to the finish points at that point in time, and you're going to wake up tomorrow and you're going to start the race again, start the next trail, the next stage of the race. If you're doing Comrades, Ironman, Epic, whatever it is, you're going to come to that finish point at the end of that day, and that's it, then you're done. Whereas these other people going through the hardships that they're going through, they're not going to get done. You know, there's oaks that they're not going to wake up tomorrow morning. You know, they're that sick. So to put it into perspective, it's really not that shitty. You know, you might be struggling a bit at that point in time, but it's going to come right. You're going to heal. I mean, you've done 100 marathons in 100 days, so you know you're having a deep, dark time. But there was a reason that you did it. But there was also a reason you were doing it. 100%. You know, you were raising funds for a mate. So I'm not doing this for myself. The cows, we don't do it for ourselves. This is not about glory. This is about trying to help.
But don't you find it ironic how people, when you tend to, you know, find it within you to do something for somebody else, it grants you this extra motivation that, like I was speaking to you earlier when we had our other interview, I was saying, like, you'd wake up some days I'd wake up and I think, if I was just doing this for myself, there's no way in hell I'd be putting on my running shoes right now. So like you say, helping others is what gives you that extra bit of edge, and fantastic.
You know, it's a really simple thing. You know, if you're going to wake up and you're having a rough time and you didn't get a good night's sleep, whatever, and you decide you don't want to go and run, this morning. If it's just you, that's fine. But if you've got a mate sitting at the gym waiting for you to arrive to come and have a run, excuse me, you're going to go because you don't want to let that person down.
There's accountability.
You're a dad or a single mom trying to put food on the table. You're accountable. You got kids waiting to be fed, so you got to go to work. As bad as your job is, as shitty as your job might be, you've got the goal is to go there, do your job, get your salary at the end of the month, so you can put food on the table, put clothes on your kids, that type of stuff. So it makes it so much easier when there is that,
Yeah.
because there's something other than, it's not just about you, it's
Yeah.
about being able to provide.
100%. So moving into your role at Modern Athlete, just speak to that, and those that don't know about Modern Athlete, just give some context to what the mag is looking to achieve and what it has been able to achieve already.
So yeah, Modern Athlete is, we used to be print and digital, so we digital only. December 2018 we stopped printing, was our last print run. Thank goodness we did, because then we went into COVID and we would never have survived. So it focuses on running, so road running, trail running, triathlons, mountain biking. We talk about the elites, so we'll talk about Gerda's great achievements. We'll talk obviously how we went live yesterday with the latest issue. So there's a lot of stories in there about the Olympics, and that's the results that have happened, and the great South African results. So there is that, but it's more about inspirational, normal people. I don't have to tell you, just your stories in there. So that's inspirational, dude. The fact that you go and do 100 marathons in 100 days, that's proper inspirational. You're a normal everyday dude. You're not a guy that trains and a pro athlete for a living.
Yeah.
So
and
that's what it is.
In saying that, there is that, Mark, like, there isn't, speaking from experience, running these marathons, it's really hard to get your story out there. And I feel like someone like Modern Athletes is helping fill that gap, which is amazing, because people do want to hear about these stories.
I think that's obviously it's an important thing. People come to us. Obviously, we do races. We broker race sponsorships, that type of thing. And races will come to us and go, "Yes, we've got like 1.2 million rands worth of prize money. It's a fantastic incentive." And I'm like, dude, 1.2 million is an incentive, 100%. It's beautiful prize money. Don't knock it. But it speaks to such a minuscule group of people.
Yeah.
It speaks to probably 10, 15 people.
Yeah.
Might speak to 30. Of those 30, 20, maybe 10 are injured.
Yeah.
So you're speaking to 20. Of those 20, some can't get there. It's for travel purposes, etc. So at the end of the day, you're probably only speaking to 10, 15 people.
Yeah.
So, and that's not who brings you the prize money.
Yeah.
The prize money is from the masses of entrants. So it's the same as us now. When you open up a magazine, you open up anything, you read about something on socials, whatever it is. We're not Usain Bolts.
Yeah.
We're not
as much as we try to be.
We're not Gerda Steins. That isn't what we are. We're not Prudence.
Yeah.
We're not Sia Khaleesi's. We that's not who we are. So
100%
you can look at that and you can be inspired by it. But that's not a normal everyday person.
Yeah.
Normal everyday person who goes and does stuff and gets out of their comfort zone, that's impressive.
Yeah.
Because those folks are paid to do something. That's what they do for a living. Like you doing this now and I do what I do, that's what we do for a living. These other guys are getting out of their comfort zones. And that's what we love doing, is telling stories about people who've got out of their comfort zones, who can inspire others. Because as much as those guys on TV and can inspire us, they don't inspire us to the same extent.
100%.
It's great to sit there and go, flip, I'd love to get a gold medal someday at the Olympics.
Yeah.
So yes, it will build a dream and you will follow that dream. But most of the people are more inspired by normal everyday people doing
100%.
doing crazy things.
I think there has been a shift in media in general, where it's been, there's this negative connotation, linked to news and whatever. But when you read, like I was going through the mag, obviously, it's insane, because you're hearing about these stories and it almost like gives you hope in the future that people do recognize other people. There are caring people out there. There is love out there. So it's fantastic to see. And like you say, you're not just emphasizing the superstars that already have the attention. You're finding these people that are trying to, spread their story. So it's incredible. But speaking to going paperless, something that I was really amazed by reading the article was the fact that you can add visual aids into your story. So for example, reading the article, there's videos that provide more context to the magazine. So just speak to the advantages of that and how you've been able to use that to your benefit. Yeah, so
obviously the way the future is, people are, time is precious commodity. So we find that people would rather watch video than read literature. And humans in general are almost becoming like more dumb as we go along. So it's, you got to dumb the versions down to an extent. My kids, when they send me WhatsApps, like they know, don't abbreviate, don't send me LOLs, don't like frigging type properly, just send me proper messages. I don't have time. So the thing about it is, it's all fast, it's instant. They want it's instant gratification. So to use those mediums is very important because our readership is getting younger and younger, and the video content is very important. So, it's great. I'm still old school. I'd still love to turn the page and hold it in my hand, but you cannot get the same feeling because now while I'm reading that article on my phone, I can embed a video, push play, and I can watch what you were going through during your run that you were doing. So it's so much more powerful. You can also
it really is, and that's like when I saw my article for the first time, I was blown away because I've never seen that before. I'm not too sure who else does it, but like you said, it provides a different medium to the storytelling. And like you can't just read an article, now you have someone who's actually speaking it, someone who's actually gone through it, so it gives such a deeper layer to the storytelling as well, which is
I think so there's a section in the mag as well where where there's training techniques and that type of stuff, so you can actually watch the video. It's one thing reading something and it says like, put your hand here, do this. Now there's a perfect, you're watching the person do the video. It's so much easier to follow that, and people are more inclined to watch a video and to follow it as opposed to just reading instructions and trying to follow it.
100%. And then someone who's looking to become a modern athlete, reader and subscriber, just speak to the process and what can they do in order to.
So it's really simple. We're free to market. You just go to our website, go to modernathlete.co.za. Subscribe for free, subscribe to our newsletter, subscribe to our magazine, and we send it through to you every month.
Awesome.
And newsletters go out every week.
So you spoke about how Modern Athletes has this emphasis on telling untold stories and giving them limelight. What is a story that you've covered or that Modern Athletes has covered that you feel deserves more attention?
Dude, I mean, over all the years and all the decades, there's so many. There honestly are. That friend of ours that we started the cows with, Cordy, he just went and did the ice marathon, which was incredible. It was 5 days. Just an amazing story. Probably one of my favorites would be we were down in Belito after Comrades at Hops. Everybody knows Hops in Belito. Clearly you don't go there for Oros. So we were there and there was just trays and trays of tequilas going to the one table. Anyway, this is the Monday after the Comrades was on the Sunday. So we ended up having a chat to the guys, and we found out that there's a group of friends from Alberton Athletic Club, and they'd gone away for a weekend, and the one guy wasn't part of the running group. And he said, like, us jokes always talk about Comrades this and Comrades that, and it's so fantastic, and it says like it's a piece of cake, but I mean, it's not what he said. It's uses other adjectives. So he basically said, it's like full of cuck. Anyone can do it. So they said, okay, we'll put your money where the mouth is, and they said we'll donate 20 grand each, 100 grand. To your charity that you choose if you run Comrades. Now this like wasn't a small boy. I'm just going to mention that. So he was a good 40 kilos overweight.
Okay.
I know. Trying to remember.
So 1, 2, or 3 in the scrum is what you say.
Yeah, 100%. He definitely wasn't ordering salads with his steak. So they challenged him, and so he signed a serviette, which is anyone knows that if you sign a serviette, it's legal and binding. And that was it. So they put him on a training program, and he went and he ran Comrades, and that was this table that was getting all the tequilas. This was them celebrating, and he had finished Comrades. So we immediately said, listen, it's a story we want to tell. It's a beautiful story. So we put him on the cover of our magazine, and the article was called Fat Boy Can Run. And that's what that was the story we put on, and I think that's again where we're a little bit different. We've also something else that we put on the cover was a lady by the name of Colleen McNally, who's I don't know, Colleen must be 70. She's not a swimwear supermodel by any stretch. She's going through some chemo and stuff, but Colleen is at a race every single weekend. She's a race referee, so she's not some. We don't Photoshop, we don't put you on there because you're this bikini model. We put her onto the cover of our magazine because she's pertinent to what goes on in athletics South Africa, and she's such an integral part of it. And other people look at her and go like, why would you put person like, you know, who isn't photoshopped on a magazine cover.
Yeah.
But that's the reason why, because she adds so much value to what the sport of running is about, and that's what the core of the values are.
So we obviously mentioned Comrades a few times. What is your personal experience with Comrades in terms of running it? And while you're answering that, I want you to think of one adjective to describe the Comrades Marathon.
Sure. So I mean, Comrades is just, it's been a part of me for as long as I can remember. Back in the day, I remember in the 80s, getting the Sunday Times, looking on the back sports section, and then working out my top 10 who I was going to, you know, back in the day in the 80s, who I thought would make our top 10. And there was like you see how close I could get to getting to the right names. So it's been a part of me for as long as I can remember. I've done a couple of them, so it's being at that race is special. Being at that race is amazing. So officially, I'm down for 11. 11 Comrades. So the last 11 have been in the car suit. I've done 21, but it was before, so I would run in without a chip, and I'm not very big on worrying about times and stuff. So I still haven't collected my green number. So I'm not really someone who's worried about times and stuff. So it's an incredible day, dude. I'm not an emotional dude, but I promise you now, there's no ways you don't cry at the start and at the finish, and probably about 17 billion times during the race when you're suffering. One word to describe it. Sure. I would probably have to go with South African. It's 2 words.
We'll take you.
There's nothing.
Jippy boy.
I wasn't great, like I said, I wasn't great at school. But it maybe Shosholoza, because that's where you obviously have charity, you have Shosholoza, and you have the anthem that 100%. Happens before it starts, and everyone just gets emotional. It's an
Proudly
amazing
South African.
100%, dude. We did an article on a guy by the name of Thomas, who ran it, and he was started by Vic Clapham, who wanted to celebrate the lives of the soldiers that were lost in the World War, and had walked a 2,700 kilometer journey, and he wanted to celebrate, and he wanted something difficult. So that was he's the guy who came up with the concept of it, and obviously you got the Vic Clapham medal. And there was a guy, Thomas, that I met the night before this year's Comrades, and he was out here with a group of 8 guys and ladies, and they were running their first Comrades, and he actually dressed the same way that Vic Clapham and the soldiers dressed. So he had his shorts on, and he had the lederhosen, and he had the helmet, the Pitts helmet, and he ran Comrades dressed like a World War soldier.
Yeah.
It was so
like
cool,
you could have gone to him and been like, "Why you dress so funny?"
No, but it was amazing. I said to him the night before when we were at dinner. I'd met him the night before, and I said to him, "I'm going to find you en route, and I'm going to be in a car suit, and I'm going to do an interview with you." So we did. We interviewed him, and we told his story. It was beautiful. But crazy enough, he did a video of the whole thing. So he documented his entire thing. It's on YouTube. It's quite long. It's just over an hour long. But he's got him singing. He's got at the start, and he sings Shosholoza, all the words, and he sings our entire national anthem. Sings Kosi Sikelele in all languages perfectly. So he studied and learnt our anthem. And you got a dude coming from Germany. I've got goosebumps now, because it was beautiful to witness it and to see it, and to see the power and the passion and the pride. And the whole way he narrates everything that happened. He narrates about Shaka Zulu. He narrates about the Boer War and what happened. Yeah. It was just inspiring. And you got a guy coming from Germany to come and tell that story. Shows you how powerful Comrades is.
100%.
And how beautiful our country is, because I spent 3 weeks here traveling. And I mean, just watching his Facebook and the stories, you see how beautiful our country is. And you got a foreigner coming here telling us how beautiful our country is. We don't even know half the stuff that goes on.
Very true. Obviously, this year you spoke about this experience that you had with Comrades. What would you say was the highlight of this year's Comrades, aside from running?
Aside from finishing and not in a body bag? Sure, dude. Again, just like running past, interviewing that oak, talking to that oak. There's special moments along the route all the time. There's honestly 12 hours. That's how long the shitty oaks like us take. We're not cuck. We maximize our entry.
100%.
We could easily just run a like a sub 6.
You're paying per minute.
It's boring. It's overrated, dude. But I think when you run past Intimbeni School, so it's visually impaired, they special needs kids. Yeah. They're out there in the baking sun. And they just, all they want from you is a high five, dude. So I always take my time there and just, take a couple of pics with the guys, give them a high five, give them a little hug. It's just, to me, that's just, like, dude, you made their day and they make your day in more ways than you can ever understand. And the seconds along the route, the guys that are out there spending all of that time setting up, waiting for that few seconds of the oaks to come past and give them a drink or a chow, whatever. Yeah. The seconds are underrated, but they're champions.
So, having recently covered, Gerda Stein's story in the mag and what she's been able to achieve with Comrades, and it's just absolutely insanity at the moment. But what were your reflection on what she's been able to accomplish, and what is it, to those South Africans who perhaps don't know her story, what does it mean to have won Comrades the way she's won it and so convincingly so many times?
So I think that's a perfect example of what we spoke about earlier, that we don't realize what our capabilities are. I mean, Gerda wasn't a top runner by any stretch. So she started off, towards the latter side of the field, and enjoyed it, and then started running very, very similar to Caroline Vossman, who started running to lose weight after having baby, and except obviously Gerda hadn't had the baby, but Gerda started off and she was midfield, and realized she had some potential, and realized she enjoyed running, and what she's done has been incredible, and how she's smashed the field has been amazing, but she's also the most incredibly humble, down to earth, magic person, and her humility is something which is so incredible. So it's one thing to be talented and arrogant, but to be talented and being humble about it, and being able to give those who are admiring you and loving you so much time. I mean, she's just incredible. You're in the ocean, she goes safaris and she has beers and tequilas, and she just sits and has photos with 1 million people. End of Comrades, she's at the George in Umhlanga, and she does the same thing. She has time for everybody, and I think we can learn so much from her. We can learn so much from so many of our people in sporting circles that are so high up there that we think they are untouchable, but yet they are so humble around us, and I think that's what makes them so much more special.
And I think it takes a very special person to be the runner that she is, especially in South Africa, because like you said, we don't highlight these people enough. And running, being the sport that it is, it's so mentally intensive. It's a daily grind, and to achieve what she's achieved and having the humility about it, it's incredible. It's really, like you said, it's fantastic.
The thing about what you also got to remember is, I mean, that's a hugely broadcast event. It's on TV, it's massive. You've got people now. We've just come back from the Olympics, and we've seen the medals that we've got at the Olympics. And what's been done there, Tatiana obviously did extremely well. Joe did so well with the silver in the javelin, our 4x100 meter relays. Alan Hathley's third place in the mountain biking was just unbelievable. For him to have achieved that was phenomenal. And those are guys who don't. Most people didn't even know who they were before they went to the Olympics. Now that they've got a medal, obviously our sevens surprised and got the bronze. But so the sevens is a team that people know about. They've seen them on the sevens circuit. But nobody knows who Joanne was. Honestly, very few people know. And very few, Tatiana, obviously what she did previously in Tokyo, people knew who she was. But again, her humility and what she's about is just incredible. And that's something that we can learn from those people. And obviously, to be honest, our sporting codes and the people involved and the guys who've been at the head of it have been pretty cucked, to be blatant. They've really been useless. Probably no one worse than Fakile, who should never have ever been in that position. But Gayton now, as controversial as he is, and what he's doing and what he's saying, I've got so much hope for where this is going to go. If he starts doing what he said he's going to do, the future looks properly bright for our sports stars.
So moving on to our next segment, you're obviously a JP old boy. You wore the black and white blazer. Obviously I'm one of the hosts for the JP podcast, and we tend to conclude every episode with the same question, and that is, what is the greatest thing that JP has taught you? What would you say, having been a JP boy, what is the one thing, looking back on your time in the black and white, that you can really take away from the school?
I think it's simple, dude. FND. For the brave, nothing is difficult. And I think that's what we've got to remember. It's just everything we've spoken about today alludes to it. The unity is a special thing. The brotherhood's a special thing. I mean, we flip, again, like maths is not my strong point. It was a long time ago. So our 89 group, I never finished there, but I classified it as the 89 group. We still have a WhatsApp group together, which we'll never be able to ever share because it's completely dodged.
Not on the Faithful Chat podcast.
Definitely not for never mind 18 ratings. But I think that's the thing. It's just there's a core group of oaks on there who are just special. It's been X amount of years, I don't know how many, but the oaks are still together. And if anyone needs help, doesn't matter, put it on the group and everybody gets together and helps. There's no questions asked. And that's what I think it is the brotherhood. And we still go. I think I've spent more time on the side of the field, rugby field, as a dad with daughters than I think dudes have whose sons go to JP, because my girls were always wanting to go to the JP games. So it's just nothing's changed. We still go, we still love it, and it's going into that school and having the people go past, "Hi sir, hi ma'am," that respect is just, it hasn't changed. It's just it's beautiful. It's beautiful.
So I know you were speaking about humility and you don't like to speak about achievement, but what is one moment that really sticks out for you over the course of your life so far, and why did it have so much significance to you specifically?
So I think the day I decided to go clean and sober, that's probably it, because that just has allowed me to become more true, more understanding of what I'm supposed to be doing. I was an absolute rubbish. Not that I'm still a rubbish, but I think I've been able to be a better father, to be a better partner, to be a better business partner, to be a better human, to be able to give back more in a sober state of mind. So I think probably my greatest achievement would be the day I decided to go clean. That's probably 100%. Just being able to give more of myself after that.
I've overlooked a question now, but I'd be silly not to ask it. You obviously have, for those that know you have an extensive history in the restaurant business and whatnot. You were telling me that the other day when I came here, a few crazy stories. Could you share with us just one of the highlights from the restaurating times? And there were some crazy stories, things that...
there are some very crazy stories. I don't think
keeping in mind the age restriction of our podcast.
Jeez, dude. We've been fortunate enough to meet so many, all of the guys, all of the rock stars that have come here, all of the teams, the sporting codes. We've met all of them. I was fortunate enough to run the World Cup campaign for LSG Sky Chefs, all the chartered flights. So we met every single president, prime minister that came through for that, every single football team. Shakira, there was no way we didn't meet. We met everyone personally. Guys like Richard Branson. The lotto deal was done in the one room at Lingalonga. So we had everyone put the lotto deal together. So I mean, there's too many to mention, dude. But special people, some real knobheads, arrogant twats, and some really amazing people.
Yeah. Awesome. So, going to the antithesis of my last question, what would you say has been...
did you go to JP?
I did. That was a big one.
That's a long word, but...
So, the opposite, of the greatest moment or highlight, it's much
easier.
easier.
The rest of us are going to understand that.
Where have you try to appeal to our St. Stephen, St. John's audience?
Mr. Tate, so, I mean, I understand he might have understood that, but don't give me that word.
So, looking at the opposite of a high moment, what has been a low moment? And what advice would you give to somebody who's perhaps going through a similar situation as they watch this?
Oh, dude, I think you're all going to have low moments. It just it doesn't matter. You're all everyone's problems are relative to what they're going through. Interest rate goes up, your car payments go up. Whether you got a City Golf outside or you got a Ferrari outside, both payments have gone up. They're both relative. So I think it just depends on what people are going through at the time. I think what they do need to realize is that for me, greatest like it's ever lived, Bob Marley. I'm not religious, so he has one of his lyrics of Exodus on my chest, and it's open your eyes, look within. Are you satisfied with the life you're living? And if you're not, change it. So if you don't like your job, stop bitching about it. Get up and change it. If you don't like the fact that you're a fat slob sitting on the couch, get up and change it. If you're not happy with your diet, change it. We've all got a choice, and the choice is you either want to fix it or you don't want to fix it. But if you're not going to fix it, don't moan about it.
Yeah.
So it's as simple as that. It's not lows. Lots of lows, dude. I mean, obviously but it's again, is it a low or has it driven you to become a better person?
Yeah.
Losing my wife, it was pretty shitty. My girls were 8, 6, and 2, but it also made me do things differently.
Yeah.
It's made my goals different. It's made me appreciate stuff different. Not back then, because I was always pissed and hammered. Now it's different. I understand it. So there's a lot of lows, but it's also lows only as bad as you make it feel, or you can use it to turn it around and make it into a positive.
Only as bad as the lesson that you learn from it.
100%, dude. Exactly that.
Yes.
I feel